Oh man, welcome to Brothers and Booze.
Yeah.
Friday, 4/10. That would be April 10th, where you guys are at live here. I'm gonna Doug. We have a this one of our return guests.
Return of the Mac.
Yeah, but I'm gonna start real quick with this. Um, Stop! Don't come back.
That's quite a name.
Hacienda Beer Company. If you're from Wisconsin, you know Hacienda Beer Company. Hacienda Beer Company is a small brewery. This is a wheat lager, dry hop with mosaic. This is one of these ones you saw me get with Garth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's pour this real quick, and then you can introduce. Ooh,
Look at that, baby. Very nice.
Look at that wheat looking. You can almost see through it.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Head on it.
Where are you at with wheat ales?
It depends. It much like my sort of worry about hops. If it's super weedy, then I'm a little worried. But what do you think of that one?
This is so the mosaic is giving it that juicy juice. You know, the mosaic. You know, obviously that everybody knows mosaic. It's giving me that, but it's also this is drinking like I'm not getting the wheat part. It's very, very thin, which is good because I wanted to drink quick. But this is like a session IPA.
Huh.
Cool. It tastes just like a session IPA. Fantastic. So it's time, right?
Yeah, let's bring in Rod of Rod J BeerVentures. Let's bring him in.
And I was on his show a couple days ago. It was fun as all. What's up, Rod?
What's
Rod, where you going, man?
What's that? Oh, little screen to the big screen. What's up? What's
man,
up? What's
bring
up?
All your beer memorabilia that I'm very jealous of.
Oh, it took some time to build that stuff up. Actually, got some new mugs and stuff back there now too. So I'm trying to expand out. Trying to work on the brand. I'm always working on the brand.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm working on a layout like that too soon. Coming soon.
Yeah.
We're gonna remove the jungle here. Hopefully, sometime in July or something, or June, we're gonna remove the jungle from. We'll be able to go out again. But anyway, Rod, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing on a Friday, whatever week this is of the coronavirus?
Yeah, like you said, what is even time anymore?
Yeah.
Welcome to my world. I love it. I mean, all you guys are homeschoolers now. Some of you, and that's my world. Staying at home all day. That's my world. So you guys, everybody's coming. It's great. Join it. I can hit me in the DMs. I can tell you how to survive. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I was pre-social distance before social distancing.
Right before it was cool, Rod.
Yeah.
I'm not cool with it, so just an FYI. But
this is a damn nice hoppy wheat. I'm that guy that loves when they throw hops in most other styles. Most is key. I don't want hops in my porter. Well, I want some, but not to the extent that where it's just taking over. The hops is kind of taking over the wheat here, and I'm cool with that. But some people may not be. Doug, are you gonna go, or should we get Rod in here first?
Why don't you let Rod go? I'll go after him. What you got going, Rod? What's your first beer?
Well, technically, my first beer, I'm just hydrating. So that was a natter day. So you guys weren't expecting that. But
That was the pregame, man.
But I'm about to crack open one here that I'm knocking out for one of our local breweries, Braxton Brewing. It is their Grader's Black Cherry Chocolate Chip White Stout handcrafted batch. So they team up every year with one of our ice cream places to come up with this one. This year they did a white stout. And, I'm trying to support local, 7.4 ABV, 30 IBU. Will say overall, wasn't all that impressed. And they're usually one of my go-to breweries. It's okay, but it's kind of like, for them, a little lower than I expected. But
yeah, it was interesting seeing like cherries and chocolate chips and a white stout, which, I would have wanted to try that too.
Yeah. So, trying to throw some dollars their way as they're trying to get through the whole thing as well. So,
yeah, what was about it that fell flat for you?
It's not just with them as much as just the whole white stout thing. I'm not really as on board with white stouts. It's kind of like,
oh man,
what are we trying to really accomplish with these right now? Because it's kind of like I'm not feeling it as much. I mean, I've had a couple that were okay. I once had like a a barley wine that was like almost like the same color as the white. It's like, what are we doing? Like, why? Just like some stuff we don't need to mess with. Like some stuff we should leave alone. Like there's some movies you don't need to go out and remake again. They were good enough the first time. And I feel like, I was not on to the white stout thing as much. All the different things that we're seeing. Yeah, that's trending a little bit slower, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Greg was talking about the hoppy wheat ale. I am a fan of the hoppy wheat ales, and I'm liking to see they're actually putting more of those out. Like this time of year, Bell's Oberon is one of my favorites. So that's like spring to me when that comes out, because that's like they'll bring it out in the spring. So
yeah,
but yeah, I don't know what you guys are feeling about the white stouts, but for me, they're kind of like oh, celebrity in the house.
Yeah, but that.
Then she got to throw some shade.
Like porter. But see, here's the thing: a porter is basically where a stout comes from. Without a porter, you don't have a stout. Because all stouts are porters. So you can't cut down a tree; you're going to lose that branch. So you got to accept them all. You got to accept them all.
Nice. Yeah, she was on there talking to one day, like, what should I have with this meal? And I immediately said porter, just to.
Yeah, I was loving that shit.
Yeah, that was great.
There's some decent porters, though.
What are you having?
Well, so I picked this up just because it's something new I saw. Nitro Cold Brew Cream Ale from New Belgium. I'm going to give you a little disclosure on this. My wife, Jill, had one of these earlier, and I opened it, and there was no nitro, no nothing. It was flat as hell. So I'm really, really hoping that's not the case here.
Now, did you pour it hard? Like, did you pour it straight down the middle hard and everything?
Well, first, you get that nice when you open the nitro, you get all that.
Yeah.
Nothing. Just.
So that's interesting.
That's why you dropped your beer down.
Yeah. All right, so let's see.
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
that didn't make any noise.
That was disappointing.
I wonder, and that's a 6-pack I bought. Look at me pour it.
Yeah, you're supposed to pour it hard and straight down the center with those. And it's just cascade. Yeah.
Even if you don't pour it super hard, you should get a better head out of that shit.
Well, they got you on that one.
Well, hey, sometimes you're just going to get a bad batch or a bad 6 or whatever it happens. I was just hoping it wouldn't be the whole 6.
Yeah. Oh, you're 2 for 2 now?
Yep. Now I'm going to say it's flat, but you get the cream ale taste out of it with the coffee on it. So like the taste isn't bad. It's just flat. You know what I mean? It'd be much. If you had the nitro part in it, it would make it so much better. But I mean, if they're going for a coffee cream ale, they got those flavors in there. It's just flat.
Well, boo
that, man. Yeah.
That's,
you have to do it because again, you bought it and I would have bought it in part because it said nitro.
Yeah, that's exactly the nitro. Like I was like, all right, great, cool. Coffee nitro. I want to try that. And I've seen a whole lot more nitros this year than I have in past years. So I was like, all right, this is gonna be cool. And 2 for 2 on the boo.
Okay, so can we jump on nitro here real quick? Can we talk about the nitro thing?
Sure.
It tastes like a porter.
No, it tastes like a cream ale.
Let it go, girl. Let it go.
He's not letting that
one go. So let's talk about nitro. Nitro was one of the things that when I first got into craft beer, it was rarer than it is now, and it was more of a treat for me, and I really, really liked it. As we go further, I still really like it, but it's losing its with me. I don't know I don't know how you guys feel, but part of it is because sometimes the whole thing about nitro is that it gives you a nice head, but the rest of the beer essentially almost is flat, or it drinks flat, or it has that flat kind of thing. So if you lose your head on your nitro, you just lost that whole beer. So I'm not, again, you ever what I'm thinking about is when you go out. Well, when we used to be able to go out for flights, and you would get a flight, and then one of them would be nitro, and then by the time you got to the end of it, you wouldn't have, you know what I mean? Like you had to drink that nitro quick. Oh, Rod, man, where you at with the nitro thing? How do you feel about it? Plus, I think they're doing too many styles with them, like nitro IPAs. I'm not sure if that's how we want to have a night. You know what I mean? Or nitro cream ale, or I don't know. Rob, where you at?
Well, I mean, a good nitro beer will carry the creaminess throughout the base of it, so you shouldn't have to. If you lose the head, you still should have that creamy body to it. And that's really what the nitro is doing, is giving more of a creamy feel. For the longest time, obviously, Guinness had their stuff on nitro. When you go to bar, they have the special nitro tap. But now you're getting a lot of beers that are trying to go outside that stout area with the nitros. You have the nitro IPA, which even Guinness tried it, I think. And it was kind of like, okay, we're going to pull that off. Maybe not do as much with that now. Yeah, there's too many people trying to do it, too many trying to copy it. But people have developed an appetite for it. That's why you have things like physics being sold out there, that people want that home taste of a nitro with that creaminess. And I've seen people put anything from a Miller Lite into whatever into a physics. And it's like, dude, that's not going to help that beer, but go ahead, just try it out. Let's see what happens. You know, we all like to be the mad scientist once in a while. But yeah, it's definitely an overdone thing in some of the different breweries that are out there. If you're doing something just to do it, you shouldn't, most likely. If you're doing something to pull something off that you can pull off, then it makes sense to do it, because then you'll stand out. So you never want to be lost in a crowd with it, because then people will just get like disappointed in your beers. So
yeah, Apple Beer Chick's exactly right with that comment.
Well, on this one too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And look, she's on a roll. Of course.
yeah.
There is a cool element. There is a very cool element of opening the can, just having that noise that you get out of it. But like Greg said, if you don't drink that right away and immediately, it's just, like I said, just not going to keep what it needs for you. Yeah, Corona on nitro.
Yeah. And the thing is too,
for the times, it's kind of, I like to play on words there. Leave that one go. I'm sure she did that on purpose, because she's pretty as fuck, as we already know. But anyway.
what the other thing is, certain beer styles are also meant to be drank at certain beer temperatures and stuff too. So I think Guinness pulls it off, because, you know, with them, you're drinking a stout. Usually a stout, you're drinking a little bit warmer, getting the flavors out of it, and they're set up for their nitro to actually pull that off when they do it on nitro. So it's not like, you know, some of these places where they put stuff on ice cold taps or whatever, you know. And any tap that's ran, any tap wine, I'll tell you, should be between 35, 38 degrees. But if you're drinking something like an IPA, you're usually drinking around 45 or so. If you're drinking a stout, you're drinking in the 50s sometimes. So you let it warm up for some of these, and they're putting on other flavors that aren't that ice cold or colder type thing. You're getting lost on it, because you're probably waiting for it to get better and let it, you know, if you're a craft connoisseur, so to speak, and by the time you get to it, it's not what you expected, because it's too cold when it comes out, you know, especially if they put it in a frosted glass, which I've had conversations with a bartender about that or two. Like, do not put that in a frosted glass. You're killing me with you're muting the flavors and the taste of it. So that's a whole different topic.
Yeah, that's more like more like the sort of, ooh, this is cool kind of, oh, it's a frosted glass. And there's some shit you can do that too, especially like your shandies, I think, are great in that sort of format, but otherwise.
Yeah, I've almost went John Taffer on a few people. I'm just saying. We've been at restaurants. My wife is like, "Are you going to say something right now?" I'm trying not to. She's like, "Don't make a scene." I'm trying to educate, you know. But again, being from Jersey, it doesn't always come out as educating.
That is a fair point. There's plenty of places there like that too. So.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Nigel? Nigel says, "What's up?"
What's going on?
Nigel and I have been going back and forth on scheduling, but he is due to be on shortly, so that's gonna be great. Yeah, drinking a Guinness. Somebody is. Tony, what's going on?
Cheers, Tony.
Hey, we're shaking people.
Shalonda says, "Hey, what's up, Nigel?" I believe we all met at Fresh Fast, Beer Fast. Yeah. So I'm gonna jump on mine real quick here. Next one here is another Garth special, Black Rocks.
And Garth hooked you up.
North Sky Session IPA. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that again. I was gonna ask Rod, since Rod is a northern Kentucky-ish, Cincinnati area type beer guy, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, good. So
He
then,
is.
what the hell is going on over there as far as pandemic and breweries, and how are you acquiring your beer, and what's going on?
Well, I mean, around here it's kind of like places probably around the country. A lot of the breweries that are still open are doing the curbside pickup. You can call in, you can go online and order it. They have it ready. You can come in and pick it up, or they'll put it in your car for you. People are buying like gift cards to kind of help some of the breweries out. There's been a couple that are smaller ones that have actually closed their doors for a bit, waiting to see what happens. Because when you're looking at a lot of these smaller breweries, if you look at the financial status of them, a lot of times there's not much room in between, what they're doing. So a hit like this definitely does affect them in that regard. But for the most part, they're doing good. We actually have our liquor stores are considered essential in Kentucky. So those are still open, and they've actually gone to delivery service as well. So you can actually put your delivery in and they'll bring it out to your house as well. Save you a trip of having to go in there, which will be kind of a nice thing. And I'm wondering if some of this stuff is going to stick after the pandemic. Because people are going to get really getting used to this. Even our restaurants, you can order food and get drinks sent with your food now too, which is nice. So, if you have a favorite restaurant, they have a couple things on draft. Like, send me 2 of the zombie dust or whatever. They put it in a cup for you and ship it with your food. So that's gonna be a hard genie to put back in the bottle, in my opinion.
It's going to be
And think about it, and from a safety perspective, you got people at home drinking and not out on the road doing stuff, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you make your business and your food more accessible, and that's good for business.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think no matter what, Rod, we're going to come out of this more hygienically aware of other people and their space.
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with beer, but I don't know. Like, I think, again, I think we're going to get back to the days of hugs and all that. But I really also believe that there's going to be more people are going to be, again, more aware of your surrounding, how people are close to you. And again, I think that's a good thing. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But what else is a good thing is this session IPA here, this juicy little love bomb here. Really, really juicy and nice. And I don't know, this let's see here. Man, this says a drink 4.9%. See, I respectfully, this does not drink like 4.9%. It drinks like a 6. It drinks like a hoppy beer. It doesn't give me that feel of like session. Like, I want my session IPA to be a little like, it's cool if it's a little lacking, if it's like a baby IPA. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for a big celebration of hops and I'm looking for something really less. Actually, does that make sense? Especially a session IPA. I kind of want it to be, again, I like this, don't get me wrong, and it's good. But I don't know if I can convince myself to drink 6 of these.
See, I like a session that gives you kind of that perspective, like you're drinking a bigger beer. Like the Lagunitas Daytime Session Ale, which is only like 4%, but it's like 3 carbs and I forgot how many calories. But you feel like you're drinking a regular IPA. Like you can knock a 6-pack of those out on the day outside with no problem. And it's like, hell, if I'm on keto, I'm still under 20 carbs, so it works out well.
Right. But I think I have to trick myself, RC, to like drink more than one beer at the same, like maybe that's just me as a beer drinker. I drink a beer and I'm on to the next. I'm like, this is too much of a sample for this one. I want to be on to the next beer. That's me. I want to try everything that's in my available area, Rod. I don't even want to but no. But I hear you though, because clearly sometimes to have a beer that's lower ABV that drinks big is really nice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then you're like you're drinking big, but you're also not, like you said, getting those calorie hits or getting those you know what I'm saying? Like
the carbs. Like, yeah. And I am more of, if there is a description for it, I guess you could say a big beer drinker, so to speak, right? Like me drinking this one here at 7.4, it's like, it's it's good. It's like, for me, I feel like that's my session. That's my style. My second one is double digits that I drink. The third one is double digits.
Wait,
I'm still done at the end of the night. I'm going back on Call of Duty and whooping some ass.
Hold on. He said his session, Doug, is 7%.
I feel like that's like right the right level I want to be at.
Doug,
Hey,
can you
break a session? I want the ABV, man. I'm with him. Bring it.
So, Doug, are you going to go on to your next one?
Yeah. So,
can I talk about something awkward you sent me though today?
Yeah.
Doug sent me a picture of his shot. He was in the shower and he sent me a picture of Ron.
Yeah. It was a picture of the beer. I wasn't in the shower yet.
You doing a little shower beer action there?
Yeah, I was like, hey man, shower beer. It's not like I was like, hey.
Have both of you guys shower beer before?
No. So this is why I started with that. I wanted to know what you do about the shower beer because Doug and I've never done them, and I'm kind of I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I get it, but it's just not my thing. But yeah. Doug likes it, and it's cool, and I like it. But so where are you at?
I've never done a shower beer, although I have friends that have done shower beer. They said it's actually pretty exhilarating having that hot water hit you while you're sitting there enjoying the beer and stuff.
Yep.
I just haven't done it yet. You know what? I'm
well, that's
2 hours away from Brewdog in Columbus, right? And their hotel that they have here in the States.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 2 hours from there. And then if that's not far enough, right, they put one in Cincinnati. They just put the bar in Cincinnati. Like, you guys trying to give me a signal to come see you guys. I know you are. Like, I didn't make it to Columbus, but you want to come over to the one here. But they actually have in their setup the showers at the hotel where you can put your beer in there for a shower beer. I think if I was there, I would definitely do a shower beer.
Facts.
Yeah. And they put a keg in your room, too, which is nice.
Well, we'll get to the top sheet question later. Doug?
All right, so I'm going to go to a local brewery. Greg, you saw this one. This is La Trapeze. This is their version. It's a Belgian double with this one they bottle conditioned with tart cherry. So their La Trapeze is great. I really like it. So I bought this, and Greg and I were going to have it, and then we just never got around to it. So I thought I would pop this puppy open and see how it is. I'm a little concerned because cherries are they're either really great with the beer or really medicinal. So,
hey Tony, it's a jungle out there, and thus the background.
Yep.
Oh, you should have did the Grandmaster flash lines. It's like a jungle. Sometimes it makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
Don't think it. We have to pay. Don't want to watch it, so it's all good. But yeah,
yeah, goofball. All right, so board's really nice.
So wait, what is this? Okay, so the first thing that jumps off to me is that like it looks like only 12 people checked it in on that.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's not even on their website. I went to go. They only have the regular La Trapeze. I bought this when I went to their brewery several months ago.
Wow.
That bomber was $17. So, all right. So the cherry is pretty light on the nose, so that's good.
17 ain't horrible, right?
Ooh, that is really nice. Ooh. All right, I really like that because the cherries are not overwhelming, just a nice little, almost like palate cleanser at the end, if that makes sense. You get all the double flavors you want out of it, and then just a nice little small tart cherry finish on the end. It finishes a little bit crisp, which is interesting.
What's the ABV on that one again?
That one is, and it came with this little nifty little thing around the bottle.
Oh, cool.
And but it gives you the ABV on what was it? 8.4, I think.
8.4. Nice. It's a little up for a double.
Yeah. So, but that is that's really, really drinkable. Like, you know, if you get the higher ABV, sometimes it's like I can have one, and that's really just where I am because it's heavy. But that's a little bit too smooth to that's as far as if you want to keep tabs on what you're drinking, because that is really smooth and really good. That will be finished by myself. That'll be fun.
We finish all the beers in this show, don't we, Doug?
Not always. There's a few that we've had to say no.
Really?
No means no.
Mm-hmm.
Not many. I am as a father, I get the freaking don't waste anything kind of mindset, but there are some all right, I can't do that.
Yeah, it's got to go. Got to let you go.
Oh, people will be appalled at especially when I'm on beer trips, and even if I'm, when I'm alone.
Yeah.
Not a beer. Sometimes I leave on these flights.
Yeah. Well, I've had bars drain pour stuff before.
Can I just point out just a nifty pattern on this?
Oh, that is pretty cool.
And that's why Doug bought it, right?
Well, one I really like La Trappé's, their standard Belgian double, but that bottle was like, that is nifty, and I am buying that. So yes, that was part of it.
That artwork reminds me of stuff like Stillwater Artisanal does on their beers. They do a lot of artwork type stuff like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. This is something that always comes up with Doug because he's very visual as far as buying beer. And we may have talked about it when you were on because we've talked about it numerous times. But who cares? I don't remember that. So where are you at with this?
Like as far as label,
I don't remember.
With the labeling of the beers? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and does that draw you to it?
Yeah, labeling definitely matters. I mean, label catches my eye. If I'm looking at a thing of beers and I'm like trying to decide which ones I want to pick up to check out, one that may have a catchy label will be the one I actually pick up, take a look at, get more of my interest. And it's not always like kind of a flashy label. Sometimes it's old classic style type label. I picked up beers that are just kind of a cool throwback lettering on it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, labeling does matter on it. There's some I don't buy because of the label, and just because of my head, it's like we have south of us, we have Against the Grain, who does good beers, but they have one called the Brown Note.
Oh, I've had that. The beer label's disgusting.
Yeah, and the label is like the guy's in his underwear. He's kind of letting it run down, and it's like I just can't physically. I feel like I can't. Yeah, it's just. And although I've had friends that like the beer, like you said, Doug, it's a good beer, but it's like I just feel like physically, I just can't do it. It's kind of like
who is it again?
Against the Grain.
They're a traveling brewery, I believe, right?
No, they're based in Louisville. They have a spot. Actually, I've been invited to come down and check out some of their stuff, but I haven't made it down there yet. But nice people, but it's just like, I don't know. It's one of those sophomore labels, right? Like you get the frat stuff on a lot of the craft beers out there. It's kind of like, could have done so much different with this thing.
Yeah, it was not great.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, this is some of their artwork. Yeah, it's called it'll be on there with the Brown Note.
It is
it's one of their better sellers.
Yeah, it is.
There it is, right in the middle.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
and I didn't even. You guys are like, yeah, the Brown Note. What's that all about? I didn't get I didn't get it, and I'm like, why wouldn't they drink the? Yeah.
I don't even know if Worst Beer Blog caught that on Twitter or not yet. It probably did a while ago because it's been out for a bit of time, but people do like it as far as the beer.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, now it's time for our sponsor, Doug.
Bring it on.
Well, thank you guys for actually having me on here, Greg and Doug. And if you guys aren't familiar with my stuff, I actually have the blog Rajay BeerVentures.com, which actually carries a lot of this stuff from videos and stuff that I do. And occasionally I do write-ups and press releases for some of the breweries. YouTube, Rajay Beer Ventures, where I do a lot of the videos, of course. And we have different things. We have like a Thursday night show called the Beer Flow Show, which is kind of like a little bit of a podcast type feel. Friday night, although I didn't do it this night, but 2 weeks ago we started the Friday Fan Fun Night, so people can actually join in that usually watch the channel. We have them up on the panel, and then various other things throughout the week, beer reviews, beer news, hops videos, whatever can kind of get some stuff around beer. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, everything out there. If you Google Rajay Beer Ventures, you'll see a plethora of different things that I'm doing. And this year I was actually moved up on feed spots number 9 for top YouTube beer channels. So there you go.
Look at that.
Excellent. Who's on to their second one?
Oh, I've already opened my second one. You
I
guys.
was going to say he's in the second. His second one's a bomber though. So
My second one is.
did you finish all your first one? Well, see, you're cheating.
Now I
You're cheating.
Thanks for reminding me. This is a nice hoppy wheat, so I'm down with it.
I mean, my first one was technically the Natty Daddy to get the hydration going, but now I finished the black cherry. So if you want, like my second one here, like I said, I'm a big beer drinker.
No,
This one here is the Nuttiest Professor from Avery Brewing, and no, it's a cool label. It's funny because the picture on here. One of the things I do on Wednesday is one of the guys, Beer Chugs, has a channel. We play What the ABV, where we do like a game show where you basically have to guess the ABV. He looks just like the guy on here, so it's hilarious. And I pulled that out on him last week, and I said, "Oh, I brought your beer," and everybody started cracking up. But this one is a barrel-aged Imperial Peanut Stout, and
butter peanut stout.
Peanut Stout ABV on this one 15.2. This is actually the 2017 edition. It is actually stout aged in bourbon barrels with actual peanuts added. So it's part of their barrel aged series. And Avery always does such good things.
Like all their gold label ones are like the really heavy hitters, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I thought they were. Well, yeah, I guess they are. But I had one last night called the Beast, which is their Grand Cru. That had a black label on it as well. Yeah. But this is a big one. I don't even know if they still make this one out there, but it's huge. And I've had it previously, but I really enjoy it. So
there it is.
There it is, Nutty's Professor. So it's 15.2 and the new version. Yep, 15.2, same thing. And this one,
it does look like him.
Yeah, it does. If you didn't know, I'm the king of the beer deals. Many people will tell you. So one of my stores had this. I'll let you guys guess. What do you think I paid for this beer? Knowing Avery, knowing their beers, knowing how big this is.
What I paid for some of their other gold label beers, I had paid, I think, $15 to $17 per each of them.
Mm-hmm. I would say like that's a 16 ounce, right? Or
12 ounce.
12 ounce. 12 ounces are expensive.
You should have paid.
I like that. Should have.
You should have paid like $9 for that shit. Am I around here? $10.
Well, $9 would have been low for this here for a lot of places.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, no. My bad. I got to think about the other one. What's the other one that Avery usually does? That's right. It's more like 15 actually. For 15, 14.
For some of their bigger stuff, like the Jacob Stout and all of that.
Yeah. Let me do 12, 13 around here, especially with
Well, we'll take that and we'll fraction it down. $4.99.
What?
And as you can probably think, yes, I did go back and wipe out the stuff they had there. I got this for $4.99. I got the Uncle Jacob Stout $4.99. Their Beast. Basically, I knew the beer buyer there previously. He overstocked them with beer. The new beer buyer needed to get stuff off the shelves, so he started cutting some stuff. So I was like, I tasted it just to make sure it was still good, which I knew it probably would be because it was barreled. It was 15%. Came back next day. How much I got left? I'll take them all. So, yeah.
Well, the other one they had in that series is Islay, and if I could find that, I would be an extraordinarily happy one because Islay Scotch is my favorite variety of Scotch, and it's aged in those kind of barrels, and I want to find that.
Yeah, they didn't have that. The tequila one they actually had. I didn't get that one.
I had tequila Cerebus. That was really good. There's one that's called Rumpkin, which is like a pumpkin.
Yeah, I had those too. And again, I was getting those for $4.99. They were like 18% plus.
How the hell are you getting that for?
Because
sometimes I'm a believer in serendipity, and it's just being in the right place at the right time.
They must be some sort of freaking beer god giving you the hey, here's the lowdown. Go get.
I don't know what it is. I mean, if I had that luck
for bucks,
if I had that luck going to the casino, I'd be a rich man. I tell you, I get a thing. Oh, I should go check out and see what they got in so and so today. And I go over there, and it's like, oh, you got this, this, and this. And it's like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and stack that up. You know, I get beer luck. I don't get gambling luck, but I get beer luck, and that's okay with me too. So, But this is really a nice beer. You really get a nice peanut feel. If you're a peanut fan, obviously if you have allergies, you can't really drink this one. But if you're a peanut fan, you would definitely enjoy this. You don't get any head on it because of the high alcohol thing. I mean, it just dissolves instantly. But it's just a nice beer. Yeah. But you got the booze coming through it. But you also, we're talking about like the nitro type stuff. When you're doing beers like this, you get a creamy feel already built into the beer. So you already have like a creaminess in play. You have a nice sweetness to it, almost like a molasses type feel and the texture. It just slides down the throat ever so easily. I mean, that's basically a dessert in the glass right there. Just decadent. And anybody's that done Avery and their big beers, they know what they're all about. And it's just like awesome. So I always enjoy them. And even though they're kind of, some people will say, well, they're not really craft beer now because blah, blah, blah. There's a definition. Okay, well, we'll call them crafty and they're still damn good.
Imperial Stoutwork Orange. Greg, that is like that Imperial Stoutwork Orange sounds like something you would be like, no.
No, but Rocky Mountain Olson's is interesting.
That's malted milk balls. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, look how many cases they only have out there. It ain't that many.
If you find something like that, if you find the gold label stuff, that's not an easy thing to find, especially if you're not in Colorado.
And it's kind of cool because they'll put the number of whatever bottle it is too. Like this was number 45. It said so.
Mambo 45.
Yeah. Oh. And like we were talking, that's good. We were talking about like how do you serve it, and Avery's pretty good at putting on there to serve. Like I said, a lot of beers you'll want to warm up, and they put on here to serve at 46 to 55 degrees.
Don't they also put like what you can serve it with, if I remember right?
Let me see like here. Yeah. So it says this creamy and colossal peanut butter stout is nuts, but our president archaeologist. Oh, that's not the part I was reading. I thought it had the food there. Oh, there it is down here.
You said president.
Yeah, he said, I'm sorry, but our resident archaeologist.
No, but it's number 45 and
he's really nuts. Yeah. I thought I was reading where the food thing was, but it doesn't have that on this bottle.
I thought for some reason that was one of those that like they give you like food recs to go with it, because if you drink the higher ABV stuff, sometimes it's not easy to find things to match it with if you're eating. Especially something like a peanut butter one is really, really a challenge.
Cheese always tends to work if you get the right cheese for sure.
Or believe it or not, burgers are very good with it because I don't know if you've ever had a peanut butter and jelly burger, but that shit's fucking delicious. So
I've heard about them. I haven't had one, but I've heard about the peanut butter and jelly like burgers.
If you can get one, I swear to God, you make a peanut butter and jelly bacon cheeseburger. It is phenomenal. It sounds disgusting. It's delicious.
With the way this one tastes, I could actually see eating like a pork loin with it. Like with a little bit of a jelly or a little bit of a jelly there or something.
I don't think Greg is believing me that peanut butter and jelly burgers are good.
Yeah, there's burgers that do the peanut butter and jelly burgers. Yeah, we have them in some of our like little craft type restaurants where they have like stuff like that. Yeah.
How does this work? You put peanut butter on one part of the bun and
peanut butter on one side and jelly on the other, or you can do them both in the top, just like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Put a burger on it.
And bacon.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, it's delicious. There's a place near me that does a burger that has the top half has barbecue sauce and the bottom half has pesto. And it sounds gross and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like my kids freaking love those burgers. They're like, I'm getting that burger. I'm like, okay, here we go. And it's always great.
This sounds like if there was a peanut butter and jelly dragon's milk, and I would think it would be awful, and it'd probably turn out amazing.
Yeah, and what's funny is I've always loved their variants, and there's been a few in the past 2 years where I'm like, I'm not sure what you're going for there.
Well, you already know the New Holland story with me and all that, but so anyway, on that note, I'm gonna
going next, Greg. Sorry,
I'm going to disappoint our friend Afro Beer Check if she's still watching. the Fox and the Hunted
Ooh, that's a good one.
Robust Porter.
Yeah.
18th Street.
Oh,
You know this one?
Oh yeah, I've had that one. Actually, my buddy, he's actually the distributor for them here in Kentucky, in Ohio. So yeah, actually, I met one of the guys there at the last Beer Fest too from there. So, which I need to reach out to because I want to get some stuff with them on the channel.
Where's 18th Street from?
I wouldn't say they're Indiana.
No, I know 18th Street. I visited there. What am I? 18th
I
Street
have
is
a real issue as an IT person with the word robust.
Why is it IT?
Every freaking conference call I'm in, and it drives me fucking nuts.
It's a robust system.
Oh, we're going to make our system more robust. Oh, we are. Are we? Okay, great. Sorry. Go ahead, Greg. That was my rant for the moment.
18th Street.
Yeah, they're doing some good things too.
18th Street is a black-owned brewery. I believe that they were at Fresh Fest Brew Fest. And it's funny because I've been to 6,000 breweries, it feels like. I stopped there on the way to Fresh Fest, and their food is fantastic. Actually, they're a black-owned brewery, and when you walk in there, you feel it's more like a I don't want to say it's not to the level of like it's like a metal bar. Like you walked in and Metallica was playing. I understand, man. I walked in and it was not loud, but it was loud enough that like I had to like be next to the person going like this. So it gave off a metal feel more than it gave off really anything else. And I remember this.
Yeah,
that's a great. If that's the label, like, or if that's how it's labeled, that is a really great label.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Doug's definition of robust is, but I believe this is pretty robust.
It's got to be roasty, right?
Big roast, big chocolate, a lot of chocolate. The chocolate in the nose, and then it goes all throughout. Big, nice, robust. Yeah, it's what we look for. This isn't no brown water porter. As actually, Miss Afro Beer Chick is near 18th Street. I'm sure she's had it. If you're out there, lady,
and she bitches about porters. She tries everything, like for real. Like she's always got different shit going on, and it's like I appreciate how she just like, and she doesn't just limit herself to beer. She tries. She had a thing where she showed like a shipment of alcohol she got, and I'm like, you got a bottle of gin there that I want. Can you please tell me how that is? So like she kind of branches all over the place, and I really appreciate that.
She was making Manhattans the other day or something.
Manhattans are good. So are old fashions.
Oh, I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you that like I'm jumping to your point, which is she has a range for sure, and it's bigger than I'm telling you, because I don't know, especially during the pandemic. I was telling the lady that during the pandemic is a time for us to really catch up on our alcohol, and the reason I say that is because I'm a beer guy and the lady's a distillery lady. So when we go to the distilleries, and we don't do it that much, so then when we do go out, she's like, "Oh, I really like this," and she'll grab a bottle, right? But then we don't drink it at home. So now we have 40 bottles.
Like some of those bottles over here, I'll drink them. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Not 40, but like 8, and it's a lot, and they're really, really good because she's like, I don't really buy, I don't buy alcohol that much, so I'm gonna get that $80 bottle. Okay, you go. Like,
great.
Yeah. Right, but then it gets home and it sits there. So during the pandemic, I've been trying to jump into hard alcohol a little bit more, just sip it and all that. Or, Rod, where are you at with this? When you jump off a beer, do you jump anywhere like this, or do you have a night where you just like, look, I'm done with beer, I just need a sipper, or no?
No, I mean I have stuff behind me that I'll actually get into once in a while. Let's go back here. These are like a couple of things that I'll check out once in a while. Like for instance, here is actually a Japanese whiskey.
Oh, that's cool.
Ohishi, which is actually a pretty good whiskey that I've been told out of Japan. I'm trying to get more of my whiskey game up because I'm in the bourbon state of Kentucky. I mean, so I'm trying to get it up. But this is actually done.
Yeah, that's not bourbon. That's whiskey. There's a difference.
Well, yeah, right. This was actually done in brandy barrels. It's a rice whiskey here.
Yep.
But very good, very tasty. I've already had some. I don't know if you see the line in there, but I've already had some of that and had to stop because it does go down so smoothly. And then I'll try other stuff like this. Like this is out of Canada that we got here, and this is actually a rum that was bourbon barreled.
Oh,
yeah. So this is actually a pretty cool thing too. It was a limited edition that we got through one of our places. It said this rum has aged in a particular oak cask selected by one of Rum Clement's esteemed enthusiasts. This bottle is one of the very few experiences offered each year within the ultra rare cask collection series. So it's not something that's everywhere too. And that's also pretty good. So I'll experiment with some of the whiskey and stuff as well. I like gin from time to time. Vodka. Vodka's more of a mixer liquor for me that I'll put it in like cranberry or something.
Yeah. What about when you go to gin? You know, gin has a lot of variants too. Like I have one over in my hutch now that is a gin that's citrus forward is what they call it. It basically has like orange flavor notes in it. Are you more into the juniper or the pine, or is it more you just want something that's kind of not so aggressive with it?
Yeah, I think the last one I had was actually, I think it was just like Seagram's extra dry gin, which I really liked. But I like to drink a lot of my alcohol neat. So I don't really drink it on ice, whatever. I kind of just enjoy it as it is.
Yeah, but gin's much better at cold, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, I mean, you can definitely do it cold. I guess it's all in the palate type thing. But I used to bartend back in the '90s, and it's just a matter of how I developed over time.
You know, in the '90s, dude, your alcohol was like, here's your shitty vodka, and here's your shitty.
No, in the '90s, for instance, we drank harder in the '90s. We used to have 4 liquors in iced tea. You don't even have 4 liquors and iced teas now that are served. We drank a lot more stuff back then.
And the Long Island?
Back in the Long Island, it used to be tequila, gin. I think that was rum, and then it was another one of the white liquor, vodka maybe. And then you put in the sour and a splash of Coke. Now they kind of kicked out tequila. I mean, I can understand because tequila does cause issues at parties once in a while when you have a lot of other stuff going on.
You know what I'm talking about.
It's like if you go tequila, you need to stay with tequila the whole night. You don't want to mix it with everybody else.
My friend says Daryl, he does red wine. Are you guys, anybody jump over there?
Not fucking me, because if I drink red wine, the next day my head feels like somebody stuffed 50 towels in it. So no, thank you.
I like a good red wine. I'm a Cab kind of person, but I'm a Shiraz kind of person more. I found a lot of Shirazes I actually really like, especially like out of Australia. But I'm definitely more red than white. The white wines are just a little too dry for me. I'm not a huge fan of them. But it's almost like those things. If you're drinking ahead of time and someone gives you a white wine, you can swing with it, right? But you just don't start out with the white wine.
Well, do you know that there's actually bourbon barrel aged red wines?
Yeah, I've actually gotten some of those from my wife here because she's a big wine drinker. So I've gotten those before, which are actually really good too.
Yeah, I can have a glass of red. I can't. That's not, if I'm going to drink it, it's going to be, I'll have that with dinner, and I can't drink any more of it because I will have a headache the next day.
Well, it's funny you mentioned wine because my next beer, when we get to that, it's kind of got that wine type feel.
All right. Well, what is it? Let's go.
Oh, you want to go? So this is another one here, and this is from Dogfish Head, and this is the Fruitful Fort.
Oh.
And I did a review on this on the channel. First question would be, what do you think the ABV is on this one?
What's it called again?
Fruitful Fort.
Before
it's like fortified wine kind of fort.
Maybe.
So I'm gonna guess 10.5.
Greg?
I'm gonna play dumb and say it's a fruity beer, so it's gonna be low. So I'm gonna say like 6% or something like that.
Okay. Well, here's a hint. It says on here, ages. I can't get my hand in front. Ages well. So if you know it ages well, you know it's a bigger ABV beer.
Big ass beer.
18%.
18%.
18%. This one is an ale brew with boysenberry, raspberry, blackberry, and elderberry. Next question is, what do you think I paid for this one?
Elderberry.
What did you say? $3?
$3, dude. I'm gonna give you the.
You're close.
No, $3. Come on now, you paid more than that.
I ended up picking this one up for $1.99.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Retail on this beer is usually closer to 9 or 10. A 4-pack is usually closer to 38, 40. It's like the 120 from Dogfish Head.
Oh, is it like have you ever had the Worldwide Stout, which is like you get like $25 for a 4-pack?
Yeah, which I've got deals on those too, but that's a whole different story. But I'm just the king of deals, like I said. I'm like crazy.
Like a super couponer for beer.
No, it's just I run into dumb luck. It's again, this was the same store. They were closing out beers because they had too many in. They put them out there for $1.99. You gotta understand. I did a video a while back about Cincinnati's the number one spot for beer drinkers in the country. This is why, because we have a lot of beers that come in from a lot of craft breweries that we still have a heavy macro population. That a lot of these beers, they got to keep moving through shelves. So they cut a lot of deals to get stuff out. Jungle Gyms that we have here is rated one of the top 5 places to buy beer in the country. So it's kind of like I'm sitting in the hidden mecca of all this beer around me. So
I don't know how much you can call it luck if you keep doing it. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, some people, it might become a skill at this point. I don't know.
Doug, I'm thinking we need to have him come back and just talk for an hour.
You need to come shopping with me, motherfucker, because you need some deals. Like supermarket sweeps for beers.
True story, right? So a few months ago, I had a couple of the guys come down and we did some beer drinking. I had Todd and his wife. His wife didn't come. It was Todd, it was Eric, and it was Joe from the Beer Patrol and his dad. They came down to visit. We went to one of the local breweries here, Braxton Labs, the place that's actually where I did the first beer. They're like the small batch brewery. Well, we were introduced there. Well, Joe was introduced the night before from one of the guys that we know, J.O., who used to do a beer channel as like being a beer tuber. So I came back the next night with them, talking to the people. We went to go ahead and pay for our beers. They gave us everything half off that we were there. So I would say it was because of me, but it was just an opportunity. It's just how we have places down here that they appreciate people getting the word out on stuff, I guess. But it's just fortunate, And I was like, and it was funny because Joe and Eric and I were sitting there, and she's like, "Oh yeah, yours is like 10, and yours is 14, and yours is like, 16." And we're like, we've had all these flights, all these different bottles of beer. And they're like looking at me, and I'm like, "Don't look at me, pay the lady." They're like trying to calculate the math in their head. Just pay her so we can. She knows what she's doing. She's looking at me like, "What's wrong with your friends?" I don't know. They're from out of town.
Like I was saying, man, we should probably have him on just to do a whole show about this. Got a question for you, Doug.
Yeah. I have nitrate issues.
Well, were you talking about having wine? I believe is.
Oh, maybe, but see, the thing is, I can drink wine. The thing is, I can't. So I can have. So it's more about the idea. Like, my wife can drink a bottle of red wine and be fine the next day. If I drink a bottle of red wine, for some reason, it might be the nitrates, it might be the sulfites, like whatever the fucking things are. Whatever is in that, it just for some reason my body doesn't react to it if I have more than a glass. So, but I could drink a fucking half a bottle of vodka or 10 beers and wake up the next day, and I might be a little fuzzy, but I'm not anywhere near in the shape I am if I drink just all red wine.
And this is what people say about tequila too.
Yeah,
but that's not me though. It's bad tequila. With good tequila though, I'm good.
Yeah.
So, Doug, I'm pretty sure Rod was never asked this before, so we really need to get his opinion on this. So, Rod, simple question: do you sleep with a top sheet or not?
Sleep with the top sheet?
You know what a top sheet is, first of all, because some people don't.
You got the fitted sheet.
You have a fitted sheet, a top sheet over top of it.
Right, and then you have your comforter on.
And a comforter on top. Yeah, I have it on top. Like I have this. Yeah, I have a sheet on top, but
you do the top sheet, right?
Yeah. But I usually have my foot out because I like to get that nice breeze off the toes.
No.
You know I was gonna throw a curveball in there, right? You know I was gonna throw a curveball. I like to have my feet out. A lot of people like their feet out.
Rob, we have my feet out to regulate my temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
dude, I can actually realize when I have a ceiling fan, and sometimes I think we're on our neighbor's same frequency. Sometimes it'll go off, and it's like I can tell in the middle of the night when the fan is off when it's too warm, and I reach over and hit the remote to turn it back on. I can literally tell when the temperature changes in my room when I'm sleeping.
Oh, so you're a fan guy too?
Yeah. Oh yeah, gotta have the fan going. I had the fan going through the winter and everything. I always had the fan going.
See, my wife and I are so where we live, we have the window open even in the winter like this much because there's a highway about a half mile away, and we get all the white noise from that.
Okay.
Now it's more for her because I'm half deaf, so I don't even like hear it most of the time. But like. I hear it sometimes, and it's actually weirdly soothing in that way. Like you just, so I get the fan thing from that perspective.
So what do you mean? So you mean that there's air coming through, so it's like windy usually?
No, for me, it's not windy. It's just I hear the noise of the highway. Like you've seen our house. You know how our bedroom is. Like we don't get wind coming that direction at all.
So it's about a noise thing. It's really not about the movement of air.
Exactly. Like we do have our fan on during the summer just to circulate air, but like it's not required.
See, the fan for me, I need the air moving. I want it on me, Doug.
Yeah.
So we didn't accommodate that. We were staying here
right
now.
You gotta have a fan. You gotta have a fan on.
Rod and I could probably sleep with Rod because because he has a top sheet.
I'm not the spoonie. I'm the spooner. I'm just saying.
So you're the big spoon, Rod. All right, great. Good to know.
I'm just talking about sleeping in the same bed. I'm not talking about. So, Rod, we had this conversation. Doug and I were talking about. This is pre-production. This is production. Everybody can hear it. Doug and I were talking about implementing like a 3-question rule, or not 3 questions for our guests. We can have 3 questions to keep them off. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's fun. Yeah, I've done that with my guests before. Yeah,
we're just gonna do the top sheet question and just move on with our lives. Like the top sheet it's great because everybody gets affected by, again, everybody's sleep patterns are so different, and I mean, like we all have our quirks, and this all started because I went to Doug's house and I slept at his house, and it was great. Don't get me wrong, but he didn't have a top sheet, and I felt like I kind of felt a little off put.
There was no top sheet, so you just laid on the fitted sheet, no blanket or anything.
There was a blanket.
But just no top sheet,
right?
You kind of had a top sheet in there in between.
None of our kids have top sheets.
Really? Just blanket, straight blanket.
Straight blanket.
See, this is fascinating, ain't it, right?
Yeah. Well,
we're raising our kids right, Rod.
So what do you do with the extra seat? Because when you buy the set, the extra sheets
those are for painting. When you paint, you put them on the floor, and that's what we use them for.
I did not realize that.
Hey, you don't let it go to waste. And I'm like, hey, fuck that thing and throw it out.
So the kids are like, there was another sheet with this. Oh, mom's using it right now.
Right. So Rod, what's really effed up is that there are people, think about this though, and I don't think Doug's one of them, but there are people who go to the hotel and remove the top sheet.
That I do not do.
They take it off the bed and put it to the side?
Yeah, and then they sleep with that nasty comforter. No,
you got this top sheet there to set. You don't want the comforter on you in a lot of places. I'm just telling you.
Yeah,
I know people that work in the hotel business.
You're really crazy if you don't do the top sheet in the hotel. Like I don't think Doug and Joe are that crazy for again, they're in their house and they can have it. But if you go to a hotel,
if we stay in a hotel or somewhere, we do use a top sheet because we're aware that the comforters are not exactly usually clean.
Yeah, the comforter is the one you want to throw off the bed, not the sheet.
Yeah. Did you do a third beer? Because I didn't do my third yet either.
I didn't open it. I just showed it, but I didn't open it yet.
Oh wow!
We're an hour in. We haven't even opened third beers yet. Let's go, man.
I thought we got to get to the top sheet after the third beer, but whatever. Anyway, that's my point.
Right.
But Greg, how are you liking StreamYard, by the way? Because I just wanted to check on you because I recommended to you. Are you finding this a lot easier to use, or is it better for what you're doing? Or
StreamYard.
are we on StreamYard? We're on StreamYard.
Yeah, you asked me about StreamYard, right?
Yeah, I sent you the thing so you can join StreamYard. I'm just asking how you like it and everything.
I don't know. I won't speak for Doug, but I completely love it. It's
Okay.
game changer forever.
I concur.
Yeah.
Much smoother, less hiccups. Like I really enjoy it.
That's back to Doug, I believe. And then someone's got to do their third.
Maybe
I'll do my third and second, but you guys are way behind me in ABV. You should be in your third already.
I'm gonna go heavy too.
Heavy too. Is it 18%?
It is not 18. So I'm actually not even sure it doesn't have the ABV on it, and I've had it in my cellar since November of 2018.
But that's a great beer.
Yeah. So this is Victory at Sea from. This is aged in the High West bourbon barrels. It was fucking awesome. So
very much. Yeah.
Well,
see, here's the thing, right? Because like Afro Beer Chick was earlier talking about porters. That's one of the best, if not the best, imperial porter I've ever had.
Victory at Sea.
Yeah, Victory at Sea is an imperial porter that they do, and it is just.
It's an imperial porter with coffee, vanilla flavors, and aged in High West bourbon and rye barrels.
Yeah, and I bet Beer Chick would like that one.
Vanilla in this is like,
yeah.
The vanilla in this is just
bourbon,
super.
And the rye.
Yeah, the High West gives it a nice little touch, or as Bill Rafferty would say, a little kiss.
Rod,
I love Rafferty. Dude, that was a great reference.
Yeah.
Rod, look at that. That is a. From November 2008, look at the head on that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
the vanilla is like just like, hi, I am greeting you right in your nose.
Yeah.
So Rod, you're up on beer, beer news, and I'll ask this question if Doug gets done.
I really wish I could share this with you guys.
I've had it. I've been there, my friend. It is.
No, but after cellaring it for that long, so that's almost a year and a half. And it is so fucking perb. Like the vanilla on your nose comes on your palate, but you get all that bourbon booze flavor in it. It says coffee. I get no coffee out of it. I got it when it was fresh, but for some reason that kind of went away.
Which can fade over time.
Yeah, but like I was not expecting that because coffee has flavor, but
that vanilla is so tasty.
That is super tasty. I really wish I could share this with you guys. It's really just that good.
Have you had that one before, Greg?
Well, I was gonna say maybe the next pandemic we'll be able to, because they happen almost every 100 years, so we'll be able to
So we'll be 150 at that point. We'll solve the idea of aging at that point, I think, right?
Yeah, Rod. And I had a question for you, which is you're up on the beer news, and again, you are, in my opinion, as up on it, if not more than me. What is the last? I know they got bought by somebody, but have you seen or heard anything about Ballast Point recently? Have you seen their beers around? I know that they got sold by Constellation by somebody, but what is going on with them? Like
the last
on the ground, I'm talking. I know we heard but
the last I saw with Ballast Point, so they got purchased. It's so funny. They got purchased by King and Convicts out of Chicago, right? So Beer Chick's probably getting this all around her and everything. Which were basically 6 guys that were pretty much dabbling in brewing, but they were more like fans of it than actual breweries, so to speak. They had a little spot. They made 6.67 barrels or something, they said last year or whatever. It was funny because they bought Ballast Point that made I think how many barrels it was, 2,000 or something, 2,500 barrels. They were less than what they were the year before. But anyway, it all happened over that deal. They were in a golf course, so one of the guys was with one of the Ballast Point executives and asked him about if they were going to sell Ballast Point, the guy was with Constellation. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, we might want to buy it or whatever. And over a golf course in a golf game, they ended up selling it to these guys. So everything just went through back in December or January. They're under King and Convict. And I have not heard much more since that point, although it'll be kind of interesting because now technically they're considered to be craft beer again. Because when they were under Constellation, they weren't considered to be craft beer.
Right.
So I haven't seen much more come out, but we do have Ballast Point beers showing up in stores. And the guys are saying they want to still market Ballast Point everywhere, but then have some of their beers available at Ballast Point. It's like, dude, you guys made 6 million barrels versus what they did. It's like, you haven't made a lot of beers. So just go with Ballast Point, So I heard from other people in Chicago the King and Convicts is not really the best little spot. It's kind of like a little hole in the wall type thing out there, but who knows? They might get a little bit more publicity now, but we'll see. I mean, all of this kind of happened since the last year or so, and then we got the coronavirus stuff, so who knows what they're actually doing with them. But Constellation themselves are taking a pretty big hit, right? They bought Ballast Point for $1 billion when they bought it a few years ago, which was a huge deal.
Fucking nuts.
Yeah, and they said these guys, they didn't disclose the amount, but they bought it for less than $1 billion that they believe. We'll see it on the financial statements when those get released. So they took a loss there, but now they're not even making Corona right now. So Corona, which was their big money maker, they've had to cut production because of the coronavirus.
Yep.
So they're taking on the chin.
Woo.
It's a rough one, man.
But I'm interested to see what they do with Ballast. But here's my thing, and I'll ask you guys: do you guys ever desire a Ballast Point beer? Really? When's the last time? I mean, outside of really going after them, you take away like the series here with the Victory SC is one of their best series.
Mm-hmm. That is
some of their other stuff. I feel is kind of overrated for what they actually put out, but it's kind of like. Well, it's almost like Goose Island, right? Goose Island has the Bourbon County, and that carries them because they got Bourbon County. I feel like Victory SC carries Ballast Point because they have them.
I thought the Sculpin series always carried them because they had fucking 8,000 versions of the Sculpin.
Yeah, but once you have the different versions, it's like we talked earlier about the Nitro. Do you really need to move off the base? I thought the base was good as it was. We didn't need a jalapeno. We didn't need these other ones that were out there.
Yeah, but that shit sells. I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, I'm in upstate New York, and there was 10 different versions of Sculpin that were on the shelf. Grocery store here. I mean, it was.
Yeah, but you're thinking of it as us being beer connoisseurs, right? For the average consumer, they get confused and they're like, "Well, fuck it, I'll just buy a Bud because I don't know what the hell's going on over here." If it's too much, it can cause confusion.
My take is that my take is that Ballast Point was ahead of the times, meaning they were doing all these crazy funky IPAs before it was cool, and then everybody else started doing them and everybody passed them, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like when Sculpin was out, that was before the hazy, juicy, it was before that era. Now that we're in the hazy, juicy, New England, all that. To me, that stuff is just mad. It was good back in the day when it was breaking, in my opinion. And that's when I think when Doug was talking about it, and I think that's when everybody got it. It was breaking. It was like Sculpin. And I'm telling you, I had that, what is it? The unfiltered Sculpin was one of the best beers I've ever tasted in my whole damn life when I first had it. Yeah. I was like, oh, man. Because I wasn't really never a guy who, got into the pineapple, watermelon, blah, 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 Sculpin.
Watermelon, El Dorado, I thought was a bust for Ballast Point.
What, the watermelon?
Yeah, the El Dorado watermelon.
It was again. So I mean, I think they were cutting
watermelon at some point because I have a story on that too. But yeah,
I think they were cutting edge at some point. And I just think everybody passed them. That's where, especially when Constellation bought them, and then Constellation, in my opinion, bought them. And then spent 6 months what do we do with this? It seemed like they didn't have going in. They were just oh, this is the hottest shit. Let's jump on it. And they didn't really and then they didn't do anything with it. And then Sculpin just stayed stagnant, and everybody's making juicy, hazy, New England, West. I mean, everybody was just jumping on it, and people are like, what's this? Nah. So like I don't know, like I don't think Scopen has the take. I don't think it has anything. I think I don't know. Maybe they even actually need to rebrand the whole IPAs. I'm not even joking. Like I don't. You're with me, Rod. Like there's nothing that pulls me to Ballast Point. It's just more of a like a what the, when I see them, I think what the fuck.
Well, think about this: when Constellation bought Ballast Point for $1 billion, they were making at the time. They ended up making it next year 400 million barrels. The following year, they were down to 200 million.
Oh.
So something happened off of that, and so it became a Constellation was kind of like, we need to get these off our balance sheet some way. So they kind of kicked it over to Kings and Convicts, and they probably took a loss on that because I'm thinking these guys probably bought it for 400 or 500 million, maybe. So they lost maybe another 500 million in that deal. I'm waiting to see what the number is because the reason I say that,
I thought
Boston Beer bought Dogfish Head for 300 million.
That's cheap.
So I'm thinking, how much more could Ballast Point have actually been worth to these other guys, right? You know,
I'd much rather have that Dogfish Head any day over Fist. A given, not even close. It's not even. I mean, it's easy to say now, I guess. And I don't know if I would say that in the heyday of Ballast Point when it was in its heyday, because that's when they bought it. They bought it in its like like it was like
they bought high. They did not buy.
Yeah, they bought like the highest deal ever, like for a craft brewery. Yeah. But if I can rant for a second here about the Brewers Association, I like to know what the hell they're doing, right? So they do everything around Boston Beer and Sam Adams, and this is my personal opinion. It's not expressed by the owners of this channel. This is my personal view.
Right.
We're at a situation where now Boston Beer is looking at 5.3 million barrels for last year because they're including Dogfish Head. So now they're talking about, do we need to make it more than 600 million so we can keep Sam Adams as a part? They moved it before to keep Sam Adams up to the 6 million number. And now Sam Adams has even said their beers at Boston Beer, like 50-something% were the seltzers. I'm not going to get into the whole seltzer type thing. But anyway, based on what they're doing, you have to at least be making beer. And they said, well, as long as they're making some beer, we'll keep them. Like, the subjectivity, just make your rules and stick to them. Let other people get into the sunlight. You're just trying to do everything to keep Sam Adams, but guess what? You got a lot of other brewers on the bench. You can put more stuff behind. So, just to the Brewers Association, stop kissing Sam Adams' ass and move on. That's my rant. Oh, sorry, I dropped my mic on that. I didn't mean to be a drop of mic. Drop my mic.
Man, you got so wound up, you dropped your fucking mic.
I just don't know why they're. I mean, I know Jim Cook, he's a legend, all that kind of stuff, but people grow, people move, they go to different levels, Bring up some of the other guys that need help down there.
And I just want everybody to know you can get fantastic, hilarious quotes like this. Look at the bottom screen right there on YouTube.
Yeah, man. Do it.
That was great. What was it? Brewers Association, stop kissing Sam Adams' ass. I love it.
Pretty much the gist. That's what I got out of it, right?
I mean, really, have either of you really said, I really got to get out there and get this Sam Adams beer out there with all the beers out there? Sam Adams beer.
There's one that they make. One
Utopia
here, and I have to get it.
I know what it is.
What do you think it is, Greg?
I know what it is, actually.
No, tell me.
But I'm not even going to say it.
No, because don't give me that. Well, I'd tell you, but I don't really want to.
Fezwig.
Yeah, old Fezwig. You're right.
But you got to buy the 12-pack variety. Yeah, you don't want the other shit. You just want the Fezwig. Just give me the Fezwig so I can move on. Yeah, Sam Adams. Again, you got to kiss the ring if you want the Fezwig.
And then I want to not deal with any of their other shit. Otherwise, I could care less.
Yeah. And let me just say, I don't hate Sam Adams. There's some beers I like. I like their Cold Snap. I like their summer one. I like some of their stuff, the cherry wheat. I'd rather have cough syrup than rather drink that one. But outside of that, they got other beers that are kind of decent. I don't want to hit on them like stuff, but I've had I didn't do the Cosmic Sour because so many people told me what they thought of the Cosmic Sour. It was kind of like, well, I'll skip that one then. Like
the Rebel IPA, it's weak.
Actually, the Rebel, I wasn't upset with that series, and they had the double IPA come out, but it was, I guess I would say it wasn't great compared to the craft breweries, but it was enough that they could pass. You know, you get that pass to score. You like Spicoli, you get fast times at Ridgemont High. You did enough, we'll pass you through, you know. And for the millennials, they're like, who's this Spicoli guy?
That's the reference. I love that shit.
Great movie, classic. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
So, did we all get through our beers? Are we?
Yeah. Did you have your third one, Greg? I didn't even know.
Did you crack your third one open?
Remember, it was this one.
Oh, that's right.
That was your third one?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember, and then I had this one. And then I introduced my first one before you even got on.
You didn't say what you thought of the third one.
We didn't get all there today. The robust porter. Remember, I thought roasted.
Oh, you said it was robust, but did you really enjoy it?
It was robust. Right. No, it was. No, yeah, it was good. No, but I you know what? If anybody doesn't, I just wanted to jump off this Sam Adams point, and I mentioned on Rod's show when I was on there, we were talking about we had talked about this too, Sam Adams and all this, and part of the thing that I said about Sam Adams is that economically they're clearly big beer to me. They are.
Mm-hmm.
And part of how I measure that is that they have a stock. Like, they're the only craft brewer that has their own stock, if I recall correctly, or if I'm wrong. I'm not counting Craft Beer Alliance, which is a stock that has an alliance. But
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'll let you rebuttal, sure. But we have AB and Bev, we have Miller Coors, Boston Beer Company is the only one. I don't know, their stock $100 and some odd dollars for that shit. Sorry. So I know they got a stranglehold on Boston, and now they got Dogfish Head keeping them, in my opinion, as crafty as they can be. That was a really good, in my opinion, that was a really good acquisition, especially if those two can work together. And I don't know, I don't know them personally. I met Mr. Dogfish Head down at his place. He's fantastic, down to earth guy. I mean, he just met everybody. He took selfies with everybody. He wasn't in and out. He literally worked. I mean, I don't want to say work the crowd in a way that like politicians work the crowd, but like he worked the crowd. Like he came around and talked to everybody. Like he wanted to know like what you did specifically. Like he literally wouldn't leave unless I told him what I did. And I was like, dude, I got some blog that nobody ever listens to or watches. Like, don't even like. I just want to shake your hand and it's cool. And he's like, no, what do you do? Like it was. Like he was like, I was just like trying to get a selfie with him and get, not waste his time. And he was like, no, my time, no, I'm here for you guys. It was just amazing. Sam is just a fucking excellent guy. So with that being said, if those guys can work together, I don't see why this isn't a wonderful marriage made in heaven, to be honest with you.
And I want to see that worldwide stout utopia thing. Like they kind of pushed that out there, and I want to see that.
The only problem is you have to be in Delaware to get it because they did bring it out already.
This?
Really?
Yeah.
This.
And it's just being released down in Delaware where they're based out of right now.
This.
Yeah. The hour trip.
Yeah. I've seen people trying it online that have liked it.
Well, Rod, tell us about it because does it come in? It comes in all these, so you can get it in the Utopias and these two, or is it just?
Well, no, they're aging it in, I guess Utopia type barrels, what they do for the Sam Adams Utopia. They're aging a worldwide stout in those barrels that are used for that, and they kind of, came out for you to be able to get like any worldwide stout in a 4-pack or whatever. Obviously, a lot of people want to taste it because if you get a straight Utopia. Most places you're looking at 180 to 220, depending on where you're at. I saw Utopia one time in my life, and it was like 220. It's like, I just can't pull the trigger on that. It's like, I could if I wanted to, but it's just like, it wasn't there enough for me to want to do that. So people are looking to get the experience because Worldwide Stout is a good beer in itself. And now you're getting a flavor with the barrels they use for the Utopia series. So it's definitely something that's out there that some people are definitely digging, and hopefully they expand outside of Delaware and people get to check it out. So I know I'm supposed to go to New Jersey in August to go back to visit my mom there. And I'm hoping if everything clears up with this pandemic, I can do that because that's only like a 2-3 hour ride down the Jersey Turnpike for me. And I can jump over Delaware and pick up some.
That's a great spot. Hey, Doug, I wanted to point out something here real quick before I drop this. It literally says right here, Utopia's barrel aged stout goes great with blah blah blah. It's an extra candidate for sure. So grab a few bottles, Doug, and lay the others down.
Yeah.
Lay the others down. Hey, so Rob, you know the story of me getting a fridge and everybody giving me shit for laying it sideways with a bottle, right?
No, I didn't know that. But you put sideways in there?
Well, here's the thing. I bought a wine fridge for $200. This is a $700 wine fridge I found for $200.
That'd be a Rod J deal. Go
I
ahead.
love
Go ahead.
That is a Rod Day deal, right? So
Right.
the only reason it's that way is it's fucking dinged up. I don't care. It's in my cellar.
Yeah, it's just gonna hold your stuff, right? Yeah.
Storing stuff in it. So I was really proud, and I put all the beers I had in my cellar that were just basically on a shelf that weren't stored at the right temp. They were stored at like 65 degrees. So I set the fridge at 55. I threw all in. I took a picture, and I got fucking 50 messages about, oh, well, you can't lay the bottles sideways because of the caps, and they might oxidize. And I was like, hey, dudes, I spent $200 on a fridge that was fucking 3 times that amount. I'm going to use it. And if you don't like it, good.
You're not drinking it. So yeah,
You're not
right,
drinking it. I'm like, and they're like, well, you can do cans and or something that's like waxed. Like,
oh God, you gotta love the keyboard warriors.
no, and here's the thing: they're not wrong. It's not that they're wrong.
Yeah,
I get it. You should store them standing up. I get it. I spent fucking cash money on that. I'm using it, and you can.
Well, here's the thing, though, right? When you store it sideways, I mean, you can store it upright, and you can still have an issue.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing is if they're bottle fermented, because the sediment, the way it would lay in a bottle. So if you got beers going sideways that aren't bottle fermented, like a lot of breweries don't do that, you're going to be okay most likely over that period of time. It's just if you get like a lambic or something like that where it's fermentation still taking place, you don't want those sideways. But
again,
but $200 or $700, that's a good deal. I wouldn't complain.
I got this, and like they're like, "Hey man, you're storing that wrong." And you know what? Again, they're trying to help me. It's not their heart's in the right place. They really are. They're trying to make it so that a beer I bought that I'm cellaring to try to age it to see how it works. That they're trying to help me, but I'm like, hey man, I don't have like unlimited funds, so if I'm spending money on that.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes there's some people when you post stuff, they're just out there just to say you did something wrong. It makes them feel good about themselves.
The people that were commenting were not people that are like those kind of people. They're not like looking to dig at you. They're just like, hey man, I think I know this is you do this because this is how it works, and this is that way. If you store it upright, at least you don't have any problems. Great.
Yeah.
And also, if Daniel, I have never even heard of that beer.
I have not seen that one either.
Kunindra, I've never heard of it. What style of beer is that?
But I will say with the Dogfish Head.
Yeah, let's get back to that.
This one here, if you like straight berry, you're getting the berry flavor of it. Like I said, it's pretty much like drinking a wine, as I have it in the glass here.
Ooh, the glass. Love that.
I like that glass.
Yeah, this is
well, it's kind of like something you drink Malort out of.
It's kind of a special glass in that this is actually my wife's uncle had passed away, and so we were handling stuff for the estate and everything. And after the funeral, we were going through stuff what people may want it, and I thought this was a really cool glass. So I was able to have this one here for the family, and you get that little base there as well to it. Yeah, so it's kind of a nice. Yeah. So that's the one thing I got there. He was a real cool guy, and it's something to help remember him by and stuff. But
sure, and
you drink this,
that's cool.
You're getting all that berry feel. You're getting a very big amount of smoothness taking place. It does feel like you're drinking like a wine. Like if I was like some Viking back in the 1400s or whatever, but like I was drinking some berry wine or something. It's it's like reminiscent of something like that. It's like you watch the thing with the J.R. Tolkien, what's the movie with like the Hobbits?
You do the Hobbit, or you could do Lord of the Rings.
Well, I'm sorry, like Lord of the Rings, like when they go to the pub in Lord of the Rings, and it's kind of like a berry type wine or something like
Yeah, that's great.
They give you a full pint of that type thing. It's like, it's like, you would easily get sloshed by this, but it's so smooth. It's relaxing. Like I can sit here and drink this over an hour watching a TV show or whatever. It's just so smooth. It just goes down so nicely.
So you guys asked about this, right?
Yeah, we didn't. I've never heard of it, and Doug said he didn't either.
Curry export stout. Wow.
Now that'd be interesting.
I've never heard of a curry beer.
Me either. And
I haven't either. No, I've had a Serrano.
I love Indian food, so I'm wildly interested in that.
And what'd you say, Rod?
I've had a Serrano pepper beer before. That was spicy.
Wow.
No, thank you.
You like curry. You like curry, Doug. So
no, here's the thing. I like curry that isn't fucking super spicy. I like the flavors of curry. I don't want it to cause heartburn and you have stuff flying out of my ass.
Okay,
well, you don't want the flying dragon curry.
Yeah, no dragon curry. Thank you.
So go to an Indian restaurant. We've all been, many have been, and you order the curry, and they say 1 to 10. What do you say?
Oh, give me the 1 or 2. Like I am not proud. What's funny is like so Joel and I will go to there's this one Indian restaurant. And they're like, do you want what heat level do you want? And they'll say, do you want like Joel go like, I want medium. They'll go, do you want American medium or Indian medium?
Oh, tricky.
It's a whole different level. And Joe's like, Indian medium. And I look at her eating it, and it looks so uncomfortable. I'm like, how is that enjoyable? She's just like, I like the heat of it because they make it kind of heat. I'm like, great, you do that. I'm going to eat this really wussy freaking curry, and I'm going to enjoy every bite of it.
Well, I need to end this conversation because we're talking about going out to restaurants, and I'm just not. I'm
not saying. I'm just saying, like when we've done it in the past.
I'm sitting here watching Drive on Dives on TV.
That would be the one thing that I miss the most. Actually, at this point of this whole pandemic, is going out to eat at a restaurant. That would be the most thing that I miss currently. It's actually, people would be surprised. It's not going to a brewery because, with all due respect, I can roll up to that brewery and have you throw a whole bunch of cases in my trunk and roll back home. No due respect, but I can't get that like tad pie that I love from that one place that I love. So yeah.
Well, here's a question for you guys though, because I always wondered this myself, and I posted this on Twitter and stuff before. Like, do you prefer to drink at the brewery or to drink at home, kind of thing? Because I'm like, I can go to a brewery to get the beers, but I'm like at home I can relax. I've got like however many beers in my beer cellar, right? So why do I need to go to the brewery? But then if you don't go to the brewery, you miss out on stuff you can only get at the brewery.
So I'm going to go first, Greg, and then please give us your spiel because you and I are
it's a mood thing for me. It's a mood. It's totally mood.
So for me, I am a super extrovert. I love going to breweries and talking to like the bartenders and the brewers, and sometimes I'll talk to the people sitting next to me. I enjoy that sort of space where I'm like, I'm just talking about beers, and I'm no expert, but I freaking love talking about beer, and I want to hear what people think about it. What do you think about this beer? Did you try this? What's this? Oh, cool. And let's go that. But like, if I'm going to drink where I'm trying to have an inebriation status, then definitely at home. But that's because I don't want to drive because I think that's dumb.
That's dumb. Yeah.
So it's not a matter of me. So for me, it's more like I like the experience of being around other people enjoying the beer that I'm enjoying and hearing what they think about it. But that's me. Greg, your thoughts, because you and I are very different folks.
Generally mood. It's a mood thing for me generally. And I was on these things kind of blur at some point. I don't know if it was one of our shows, Doug, that we were doing Meet My Friend, or whether it was on a Friday night, but we had been talking about how it's a mood thing. And, you know, especially before the pandemic, I used to be like, we were talking to our friend Stephanie down in Atlanta.
Yeah,
she was talking about how like now that we're in a pandemic, she realizes that like she skipped out on a lot of like brewery things and events where she was just like, I want to go, and then the day comes, she's like, fuck it, like I ain't gonna go, and like I kind of like that's kind of me. So it's really a mood thing, and it depends on like what events going on, and I don't know, like I'm not bragging, but I've been around, and Rob's probably like this too. Like, there's probably not a beer event that you can go in this area that you don't know somebody. So sometimes that's a good and a bad thing, with all due respect, because sometimes you just want to go.
Anything and nobody knows shit about me. It's great.
Right. Sometimes you just want to go to a brewery, have a few beers, and not really talk. Sometimes, literally, I go there. The last time I went into, what was it, Funk Factory? I was walking in, and somebody's like, "Hey, it's Daddy Porter," and I was like, "What?" And it was one of my friends. He's in the group. His name is Kyle, and like and his name is Kyle, and I know it now. And we talked, and it was great. But like when I saw him, I was like, "Hey," but I completely missed his name. I didn't remember his name. He knew me. So sometimes it's kind of awkward. So like it's a mood thing because sometimes I'm like, are you ready to go out and like be Daddy Porter? And it's not really that big of a deal. But like sometimes it's just like I just want to go and get a beer and just like get out and be cool. So it's a mood thing.
You're a celebrity, Greg.
I'm not a celebrity. I don't ever want to be one.
But at Greg's point, I can definitely see that because sometimes it's like if you go out. Obviously, if you know people, you got to go pay your respects and kind of you want to get in and out, but it's like, oh, I see so and so, I know, or so and so. You got to go say hello and all that stuff. But like, I'm an extrovert. I'm in sales. I'm extrovert by nature for the most part. But it's kind of like my thing is, why go to a brewery if I got the beer at home already? It's going to cost me a lot more at the brewery than I already got it here, and I got so many beers I haven't drank already. So. I'm always in a mixed thing because people are always like, hey, go do some more brewery videos. We love your brewery videos that you do when you're there on the location. And I always have good success when I'm there and I meet people from the brewery and stuff. But it's kind of like, do I want to go do that today? Like, I want to just like time, to just enjoy some of the beers here. But just curious because some people love to be in that brewery scene and be out there. But I'm kind of like, do you need to really be out there if you're already got the beers and you're telling that story? It's kind of a preference thing, I guess. But
yeah.
And then Tony says it depends on the brewery. Does that factor in a little bit or no?
It can. I mean, there's some breweries that are more fun than others. I think as well when you go to that. We have one brewery here which I haven't been to yet, but I've met some of their people, and I should go at some point. It's called Burkus, and they actually mixed a brewery with circus. So they do like circus type acts at the brewery. It's kind of interesting when you look online and see stuff. I haven't been over there yet.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I need to go check them out at some point. And there's some breweries that are kind of like you walk in, it's like nobody really there as much. You can kind of just sit there. It's kind of like just you're in your own piece or whatever. But it's kind of like nothing really going on. So you must just grab a 6-pack and go to the house, right? Or something along those lines. So there's different things depending on the brewery and which one you prefer to go to. Some breweries can be really loud. So it's kind of like, if you go to Rheingeist, which is like a 3-story warehouse here in Cincinnati, a lot of people come there. They play cornhole, they play darts, they do all kind of stuff. There's a lot of people partying. It's kind of like, do I really want that tonight? I want to go back home and chill type thing. But it all depends on that as well. So,
Rod, it's been fantastic, but we're an hour and a half in.
Yeah, man. We can. The thing is, with you,
I got more.
I know, and we have more. That's the thing. 3 hours. This can go for freaking 3 hours, and
right.
Maybe we'll have to do that during like a weekend day where it's like shit. But like,
you guys are welcome to come on my stuff. I know Greg was on there earlier. Like I said, Fridays I do a Fan Fun Friday where we do stuff like that and stuff too. So I open up to anybody that watches that wants to join the panel.
Doug needs to jump on with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Rod, we have to. Well, we don't have to, but we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah, because I have some beer I have to give to my wife so she can try it because it's fucking great.
Right. So Rod, tell us the 3 beers that you had and tell us how you like them, and then rank them on, and I'll go last first.
All right. Well, the first beer I had was the Graders, which is here. It is the chocolate chip white stout. It is done with the collaboration with one of our ice cream places here called Graders. A little bit different. It wasn't really up to my par just because I'm not a huge white stout person, but I like to see what they're actually doing.
Okay.
You definitely get the cherries out of it, but not much more really than that. you can get through it with no problem. So in that regard, it's halfway decent beer along those lines. The second one was the Nuttiest Professor from Avery Brewing. Definitely worth trying if you can see it. They do use peanut, so if you have peanut allergy, you must pass on this one. But this one came in at the 15.2% ABV.
And you brought
very solid. If you see that face, that's kind of the guy Mike from Beer Chugs. So I always tease him about like, hey, you're on the label of a brewery. Avery always does some good things, so check them out. And the third one was from Dogfish Head, and this was the Fruitful Fort. Essentially, this is wine in beer form. So it's got like 4 different berries. It's a sipper. You sit back, you enjoy it, you relax, you put your feet up. That is actually what I am drinking right now. 18% ABV and pretty smooth for that ABV level. So those are the 3. I won't count the first one. I started out with a Natter Day just to get the hydration going. So we'll leave that one off.
So what would you think was the best out of those 3?
Out of these 3,
yeah, we're excluding the Natter Day. That's not.
Yeah, Natter Day's not in. I mean, for me, I love peanuts. So I really did love the Nuttiest Professor, but I do like the smoothness of the Dogfish Head too. The Fruitful Fort is a.
You can do 2. You can do
one.
Well, and
you can do a dual winner.
Yeah, I mean they're like 1A and 1B are pretty close.
Yep.
I would say for me, depending on your palate, if you like peanuts and nuttiness, the Nuttiest Professor is a pretty cool beer. I would definitely recommend checking that out. That'd probably be my top one. And then if the second one for me, like we were talking about wines earlier, I do enjoy a nice wine. That will be the Dogfish Head, which gives you like kind of a wine feel in beer form.
Makes total sense.
Well, Rod, it's been fantastic.
Awesome.
I'm gonna say we'll see you in the fall because I don't know. To me, I don't care what Doug says. I want you back on here 3 or 4 times a year.
I would be happy to be so.
We're an hour and a half in, and I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface on shit.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff here with the beer, and if we clear this pandemic at some point,
dude,
fresh is August. I am set. I think I'm going to try to drive into Pittsburgh before I go to New Jersey.
Greg and I have tickets, VIP tickets. We are
Fresh Fest already.
We have tickets and we have a place.
Okay.
So listen,
we're going.
If it pans out that we can actually go,
I'm so looking
forward to it, man. I am.
Pun intended. If it pans out,
I'm hoping to get there to see you guys. And I'm going to tell you, if you haven't been there before in Pittsburgh, you need to get a sandwich from Permane Brothers because that shit rocks.
And here's the thing: people in Pittsburgh will say that.
Yeah.
So it's
so good.
Hey, Rod, I'm going to tell you, there's a Permane Brothers in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice!
And I went there, and their sandwiches are ginormous.
Yeah,
not impressed.
You didn't like them, really?
They were good. It's not that they were not good. They were not like, oh my god, I need to go have more of these.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? You don't want
if you want carbs, it's a fucking sandwich with giant mounds of fries on it.
You know how they started, right, Permane? You know how they started with the history of Permane Brothers?
Yeah.
So,
with the truckers that used to come through there, so because they were in a hurry, they just put all the stuff on one sandwich and mashed it on.
Give it to them. And so, yeah, that's great. I'm not saying it's that. I'm just saying, like, holy fuck, that's a lot of carbs, and I'll eat it.
Well, did you say that about a barley wine, Doug? Checkmate.
It's time to kick Ron off. Fuck him.
It's not that difficult.
Oh. Hey, man, Rod. Listen, dude, thank you for being on. We will definitely have you on. And I got to get on your jam.
Oh, definitely.
Dude, I really appreciate the way you Greg and I have talked about how you describe beers and what they pair with and things like that. Just like nobody's better at that.
Oh, thank you.
We never had on. That's the truth.
Well, you can always trust a fat guy.
Dude, you have not seen me stand up.
You're great company.
Chubby Boy Unite. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Before we let Rob go,
Daniel's totally in on a 3-hour thing.
There you go.
do it. I'll be
Let's
in.
do it. Hey, I'm around. Can't go anywhere. It's all about
3-hour
social
tour.
distancing. You let me know.
It's a 3
I can probably do it tomorrow. We'll chat. Rod, it's always awesome, man. Like I said, we always say, man, when it's like an hour and a half in and we just realized it. I mean, we didn't even get to our second beers before the second hour. So, I mean, cheers, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for bringing us fans. All that, man. We'll see you we'll see you at Fresh Fest. Hopefully, if not, we'll see you in the fall in this show.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, we're going to do that again. Rod, thank you again. Doug?
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
So,
dude, that was like, anytime you talk to him, it's like just the time just is like zooming by. You don't even realize it. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It feels like we've been talking for 30 minutes.
Like you said, and then when Rod like puts his beer up and he starts talking, I just listen. I'm just like, what is he gonna say about like? And I don't know, I think I need to do better as far as I think. With all due respect, I think we both need to do better as far as describing our beers and giving it adjectives and really trying to get people like Rod is. He does great about putting you in that place. I forget what he said tonight about I forget what he said about a beer, and he's just like, you know, he just puts you in that like comfort place where like you can relate to what he's drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, I kind of had a night like you normally have, or not normally have. You've had a couple of these nights recently where it was hard for you to realize which was a better one or not, and they were so close
tonight. But
they were so close.
I will go next.
Yeah, they were so close that again, it's just really hard actually for me to do it. So it's probably going to surprise some people, but actually we'll go with this first. Is the Norski Session IPA. It was fantastic. It was great. All these beers are great tonight. The only down thing is what I said was like it drank more like a bigger IPA, and I don't know. When I see Session, I'm kind of looking for a lighter go at it. Not a big hoppy thing. That was kind of a big hoppy thing for a Session. So
that's right. It was a session. Was that the one that was a session that was hopped with Mosaic, or that was
or I'm sorry, well, this is Session IPA. It says this is Session IPA loaded with Mosaic. So it doesn't just say, it says loaded. So
with Mosaic, it says fucking loaded with Mosaic.
It literally says loaded, right? Anyway, so give it an explosion of aroma. It was stay up late watching nature, but again, it didn't feel like I could drink 6 of these. I could drink 6 of them, but it just didn't. Anyway, right. The Fox and the Hunted couldn't be the Fox and the Hound because that was a really good kid story when we were young. But the Fox and the Hunted, big robust porter, I've had it before, fantastic. It's not a brown water porter like our friend likes to talk about. And then last but certainly not least is Hacienda's dry hopped wheat. Hacienda is a fantastic brewery here. Next time I come your way, I will bring some to you. Hell, I should send some to you. They're just really fantastic. They are a subsidiary of Door County Brewing. So 2 things there. Hoppy wheat. Love it when you hop out of wheat, hop out of lager, hop out certain things. Fantastic. Go, brother.
All right. So for me, this is the least only because I had this. Nothing. It was fucking a flat beer. My wife had one earlier. It was flat as well. I might have had a flat 6-pack. I would have loved to have had the nitro in that. The second one I had, which is second place, is the Liquid State double with tart cherries. Really, really well balanced. I have to say that doing the tart cherries, I was a little worried that would take it over, but not the case. And the almost 1.5 year aged Victory at Sea with the High West barrel. That was fucking superb. It was good fresh, but the vanilla and just like the bourbon barrel wasn't overpowering. It was just superbly good. So yeah, that was a winner.
I like the irony that Ballast. It was a 2-year-old Ballast Point beer. Like the whole thing kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Because like again, like we talked about, Ballast Point's kind of like, you know, we're kind of it almost feels like as craft beer people, we're just done with it. Like, so for you to pull that out and be like, hey, Ballast Point is still fucking good.
Yep.
It's really cool.
Really
right. So let's see if they can duplicate that.
Yep.
So Doug, next week we have on the bottom here, my friend Hamilton Riley from Beer from Virginia. So we're going to be able to talk to him about what the hell's going on over there.
Over that way, right?
Over there.
Yeah.
Right. But he's a veteran in beer, in Virginia beer. He's been blogging about it before I started blogging. And him and his wife usually attend the the Beer Bloggers Conference, and they're both lovely, fantastic people. We won't see Michelle, but we will see Hamilton, and it'll be fun.
Yep.
Well, Doug, I will see you on Tuesday. I think we have an appointment with the main beer babe.
Yep. That'd be great, man. It'd be awesome. Can't wait.
It's going to be fun, and we actually get to talk to her about whether she resolved her tree issues and all that. I don't know. Check
right.
At Beer Babe on Twitter. We're going to talk to her about a Twitter account too, because her Twitter account was one of the first, really, from what I know, beer. It was some place where they go beer. But when Carla says anything about beer, she gets like 100 replies. So she's a really good person to throw a whole bunch of shit off of. So we're gonna have fun. So on that note, Doug, I will see you then.
Yeah, man. Take care. Peace.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
And everybody stay safe and be good and stay at home and be safe. Because that's where to be safe.
All that.
Cheers.
Cheers.